And you know, when I was a kid, I did not like sushi. I think the first time I started getting into sushi was probably, maybe I was around 9 or 10 years old, and started with tuna rolls. So Bristol Farms, which is a local market in the LA area, has these canned tuna with mayo sushi rolls. That's really, I think that plus Tekkamaki, which is what we're going to be making today, just the regular tuna roll, is what eventually opened me up to eating sushi. So it's interesting how your tastes change, right? At least for me. I'm sure many of you have also had your taste change over time. Hey, what's going on, guys? Pat here at All Day Like a Shark, where I share my Japanese cooking videos once a week showing you how to make Japanese food. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing for more videos like this one. Today what we're going to be doing is making a very simple dinner using sashimi. I have some tuna right here. We're going to be making sushi, so makizushi. In particular, Tekkamaki, which is one of my favorites. It's a tuna roll. We'll also do kappamaki and some avocado. And we're also going to make some miso soup, which is going to be our side dish. So rice just finished. I'm going to go ahead and turn off that. And I have some hot water here boiling, actually dashi. So I'm going to take out the dashi packs, and we're going to make some miso soup. So we're going to go ahead and save these. You can make furikake out of them if you didn't know that. And question of the day, have you ever made sushi at home before? Let me know in the comments below. This is one of the easiest things that you can make. So first thing I'm going to do is throw in some wakame, dried seaweed. This is for our miso soup. This is about 2 cups worth of dashi stock. And then I'll do about 2.5 tablespoons of miso paste. This is actually barley miso, mugi miso. Got this on my last trip to Japan in Shikoku. So this is a special edition. And turn down the heat. Actually, I'm going to put in all of my little tofu blocks. This is about 1/4 of a block of tofu. I already removed excess water, soft tofu. And then I'll put in a little bit of my green onions here. I'm going to save some of this for the natto. We're going to do natto maki as well. And get this all stirred in so that the miso paste dissolves. And since the tofu's been sitting out, it's not going to really affect the temperature much. And this will be ready to serve once we're done. So there's our miso soup. So now what we're going to do is make the rice, so the sushi rice. I have my sushi vinegar here, sushi rice vinegar. You can get this in a bottle. It also comes as sushi noko, which is like a powdered version. You got to be careful though when you're adding that to your rice, because with the powder, if once you add it, the vapors from the steam, if you're using hot rice especially, will come up right away. It might give you a nice surprise if you inhale it. So be careful with that. Even with this vinegar, you want to be careful, but it's not as bad as the powdered version. So I have 2 cups of rice in here. I put about 2 little 1-inch pieces of kombu in there. And that's to help with the flavor. Kombu has a lot of umami naturally, and it gets absorbed into the rice, and it helps to improve the flavor of your sushi rice, also known as shari. So go ahead and take out the kombu here. You can save this for tsukudani, or you can put it in the miso soup. I think I'm just going to add it to my miso soup since I have it. Go ahead and put this into my little mixing bowl. And you might not want to use it right away when it's super hot. For the purposes of this video, and since we're going to eat it right away, we're going to just go ahead and use it. So this is 2 cups of rice, Japanese cups. So if you're using a Japanese rice maker, that's all you need to do. Otherwise, you might want to leave a little bit out so that you don't mess up the vinegar ratio. All right, so that was all of it. And we're going to use just the same directions that are on the bottle. So it says 5 tablespoons of sushi seasoning to 2 cups of uncooked rice. So we're going to do 5 tablespoons. If you like things a little bit more sweet or more salty, you can add sugar or salt to your taste. You want to gently fold the rice vinegar or the sushi vinegar. You don't really want to squish the cooked rice. You want it to be just gently mixed in. So you can really smell the vinegar, so you don't want to stand too close to your rice. So this is just about mixed in. I think all of these pieces seem like they're evenly coated, so set this aside. Go ahead and close that. So this is natto, fermented soybeans. never seen it before, it comes like this in a little foam packet. A lot of times it's frozen. You can actually make it at home if you don't have a market near you. You just need the natto starter, which you can get on Amazon, by the way. Or you can use this as well to start your own natto. And it's very gooey. It's a little bit stinky. Fermented soybean, obviously. And we're gonna go ahead and mix this into this bowl with some green onion. So we'll use about, actually we'll use all of this. Will be very oniony today. So I already sliced it somewhat thin, but I'm gonna slice it even more just because I don't want big chunks of onion in my natto maki rolls. So maki means it's like a roll, which is what we're doing. There's temaki and there's like tekkamaki. So temaki is like a hand roll. I have some shiso here because I enjoy eating my tuna with shiso leaves. We're gonna roll some of that in as well. You can also do wasabi. I have some wasabi, avocado. That's gonna be our dinner. So it's not too hard to put together. And if you haven't done it before, you should definitely give it a try. Chopsticks. And we're gonna go ahead and use the tare. This is the sauce that came with the natto. If your natto didn't come with any tare or seasoning, you can just use regular soy sauce, or you can make your own. So we're gonna do 3 packets today. Oh, oops. Holding the wrong piece of the container there. And if you've ever had natto in Japan, you might have noticed that the texture and flavor is way different than what you can get here in the US. I don't know why that is, but probably because it's not as fresh, right? Something about being transported overseas changes the flavor. Okay, so there's 3. All right, so I'm gonna put in all 3 of these packets. I actually don't like the karashi. The mustard, spicy mustard. It's a little bit too potent for me. I don't know about you guys, but no karashi for me. So put all this in and mix it all together. And then we will have our natto ready. You can actually just eat this with rice if you wanted to. You don't need to put it on sushi, or in sushi, I mean. Okay, and then here is our piece of tuna. This is about a ½ pound of just regular akami maguro, which is tuna. It's a type of tuna. And it's the red part. So there's fatty tuna, which is chutoro, or otoro, which is a really fatty tuna. And those are some of my favorites. And when I want to treat myself, that's what I'll get. All right, so get this out of the container. I always give it a nice rinse and then wipe it with a paper towel, just in case there's any residual bacteria. I like to think that it helps to clean it a little bit. Pat it dry. And then we'll slice it into long strips because we're doing tekkamaki today. We're going to use this thing to roll it. I'm not really a pro, but I'll show you how I do it. A lot of times I do just makizushi, which is a little bit less labor intensive than that. So let's go ahead and finish up our natto, negi natto. So I'm just going to mix the onion in here, and we can spoon this or use the chopsticks, the hashi, to put it over the shari, which is the sushi rice. So that's your sushi slang, Japanese lesson for the day. Shari is the rice, and then we have our neta, which if you put it on top of the rice, like the nigiri, which means to grip, the neta goes on top. If you have ginger, that's known as gari. So gari is ginger, so pickled ginger. For the tuna, we're gonna go ahead and cut this the long way. We'll do some generous slices here. I'm gonna cut these about a 1/4 inch, between a 1/4 inch and a ½ inch thick. So key thing when you're using the makisu, this is called a makisu, this helps to shape your rolls, is to keep your hands wet. And same with the knife. Keep the knife wet as well when you're cutting so that the rice doesn't stick. I'm going to cut this in half that way so we don't have such giant pieces of fish in our tekkamaki. Okay, so there's our tuna. Tuna's ready to go. We have our cucumber here ready to go, Japanese cucumber. I have some avocado. Should scoop that out and I'll de-stem my shiso. Shiso is actually one of the ingredients that's antibacterial, if you didn't know that. Thought that's pretty interesting. So, miso soup is ready here. Set that aside. I have some nori here. This is, it's not sushi hane nori. Sushi hane nori is the nori that has little holes in the sheets of nori that helps to increase the flavor. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toast a few of these really quick. I do it on an open flame, and I think it helps to improve the flavor, so you should give it a try if you've never done it. So I'll just do a few of these. Gotta be careful though and do it quickly because it smells like burnt hair, and that everybody knows burnt hair smells no good. So it's just to help get it a little bit more crisp, because even though they have the little moisture packs in the package, it always helps to toast it really quick to get it more crunchy, at least in my opinion. Just put it right here for now, and we're gonna go ahead and roll. So we'll do a few of these. Like I mentioned, keep your hands wet and keep your knife wet, and you'll be eating sushi rolls in no time. Not as complicated as you might expect, but obviously people train their entire life to learn how to make sushi, so it is an art. All right, so I think we are good there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these in half. So sometimes these have little perforations in them where you can cut, and that helps to let you know how big to cut each of these pieces. We'll just cut these in half. So perpendicular to the lines. And we have our first set of sushi here, or nori. Nori is dried seaweed in Japanese. Just go ahead and wet our hands. Okay, so I just wet my hands. I wet the knife again, which we're going to be using to cut the tekkamaki, which is what we're going to be doing first. So I'm just going to spread some on here. And if you're using wasabi, if you like wasabi, you can definitely put that on as well. So we'll keep a little bit of space on one side. And that's where it's going to fold. And you want a light layer, maybe about a 1/4 inch thick, no thicker than a couple grains, otherwise it's going to be too thick. And then you can put on some wasabi. So the way that they do it is just they smear it on, I've seen. I used to hate wasabi until I had the real thing. And then we'll just go ahead and put one piece on right there. It looks like we need a little bit more on one side. So we'll just put that there. And for this one we won't do anything special. Just go ahead and align the sushi, and then we're going to go ahead and roll it and then press it. Looks like I put a little bit too much rice on this one. Like I said, I'm not the best, but it'll work. So there's one roll. Let's do another one. Put a little bit less rice this time. You can always tell if you're at a good sushi place is because they give you a decent amount of fish and not a ton of rice. At least that's one way you can tell. So here's another piece, and might need a smaller piece here. Okay, and so just like last time, we're gonna roll it on itself. And then you release that, and then you push down one more time. And this one will be a little bit better than that one, so take some practice, obviously. All right, so there's two. We'll do one more and then we'll cut it all. And always make sure that the rough side of the nori is up. That's what you want to be on the rice side. There's a smooth side and a rough side to your nori, if you didn't know that. And since we didn't put wasabi on this one, we'll put some shiso leaves. This is my Arrow Garden shiso. So there's that. Go ahead and wrap this around, roll it, and push everything relatively firmly. That way it'll keep its shape. Okay, so there's a few. I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of these right now, just so you can see how it looks so far. Like I said, make sure that your knife is wet so that you can cut through easily. I want to use a sharp knife as well. And then we're going to cut this, after you cut it in half, that way we're going to cut it in thirds. So however large you want your maki or tekkamaki to be. All right, so there's our first bit. I can show you how it looks so far. They're all different shapes, but that's okay. It's all about the flavor. So here's how it looks so far. Not the best, I know, I admit it, but taste is very good. So now we can go ahead and do some kappamaki, which is the cucumber. So again, we'll do the same thing that we've been doing. Put a little bit of rice, and then we will put some cucumber. And then what I also like to do sometimes is put on some toasted sesame seeds. I didn't toast any today, but we can just put some on. And that helps to give it a little bit of a dimension of flavor, a new dimension, additional dimension of flavor. So I'll put a few of these on here. Be generous. And then we'll just sprinkle some of these on. You can put wasabi on there too if you'd like. Totally up to you. And we'll go ahead and fold it. And push down. And then roll it one more time and then push down a little bit more. Okay, so there's that one. So let's do another kappamaki. Put some cucumbers on here. Put a little bit of wasabi. And some sesame seeds. And we'll go ahead and roll this. There's our first kappamaki. Do some natto. All right, so there's that. Go ahead and put this down here and fold it. Anyways, we can go ahead and cut these pieces and finish up the rest later. Since I'm hungry, we can eat some of it. So go ahead and wet the knife again. That way it doesn't stick. Cut it into the desired size. And you can plate. So, not too difficult. Hopefully, if I have demonstrated that correctly, at least to get edible makizushi. May not look great, but it tastes great. So here it is. Tekkamaki with shiso, natto, and kappamaki. So 3 different sushi rolls that you can try making yourself at home. And a little bit of miso soup is all you need to have a complete meal. So hope you guys get a chance to try this if you haven't already. And alternatively, like if you can't get fresh sashimi, fresh tuna, you can use canned tuna with a little bit of mayo, like I mentioned. That's what I used to eat when I was little. You can definitely find cucumber, and you can definitely find some avocado, which I'll be making next. And hope you guys give it a try. So if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the alarm button for notifications for when I post new videos. And other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. See ya. Let's go ahead and have a taste. So itadakimasu, that means I will take it, I will eat it. Itadakimasu is what you say before you eat. And you put your hands together. Delicious.